Hello, I am here to check in at the start of my third round of the Ting Challenge. This time around, I'm doing the Get Tone Challenge and I'm really excited about it. It is all strength training focused, and my second round of the weight loss challenge, I did start to add weights in. So I'm definitely ready for this, really looking forward to it. Today was my first day and I got in the opening workout and it was just really amazing to be working with the weights again. I've always really enjoyed strength training. It's something I've done since I was a teenager, and I've had like a lapse of sort of focusing on strength training. Just mainly because I didn't really have a lot of weights to work with where I'm at right now. And it felt just really nice to just get back to it, you know, and to have some equipment to work with, to get back to lifting weights. And I think my body's really ready to transition to that at this point, you know. It was wonderful with the first 2 rounds of the weight loss challenge to focus more on that cardiovascular component and just getting things moving, getting my lymph moving, and starting that you know, weight release, and feeling that lightness and being that came forward from that. But I definitely feel like now it's time to really work on the body composition, build that lean muscle mass, and boost my metabolism. It's only going to support my weight release efforts, you know. It's such a key component in weight release. And let's face it, for those of us who are on weight release journeys and have, you know, a significant amount of weight to release, it also helps to keep our skin nice and firm to bring in the weight. So I'm so ready for this and very excited, and already got my first workout session down for the ChloeTing 2022 Get Tone Challenge. So it's nice to switch it up. This one is also a 4-week challenge. So on my usual schedule, I'm going to be going 4 weeks strong, and then I'll have a week of active rest after this one, and then I'm going to do the Get Shredded Challenge, which is a 2-weeker. And that will put me right at the start of summer. So I'm really excited to see how this one goes. You know, what changes do I experience in my body with the emphasis being on strength training? I don't want to lose that cardiovascular component though, because just with the heart disease history in my family, heart health is super important to me. Taking care of my cardiovascular health is really important to me. And another side of myself that I haven't shared a lot about here yet, but I plan on doing more so, you know, as time goes on here at Broad Coven, is I'm a dancer. And I've been a professional dancer, okay? And I've done that for many years. And I'm kind of toying around with the idea of maybe doing a few gigs, you know, either later this year or, you know, at the start of next year. I haven't made any firm decisions about it yet, but I love dance. It's something that really speaks to my soul, and it's such a great emotional release for me as well. And I do want to share a bit of that side of myself. And so I've decided that to get the cardiovascular component in, since it's not really a central focus of this challenge, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in a few days of just, you know, really working on my dance. I don't know, maybe I'll do that a bit on my active rest days. I'll get some dance in. And that might be kind of nice, you know, just switch it up a bit. And I really like to work with, I think his name is Mike Peel. I think that's right. If I get that wrong, I'll correct it in the comments on this video. But he does a lot of hip hop dance and choreography. He had a great Janet Jackson series where it was breaking down her choreo and to all her old music. And I just love that because that sort of really inspired me with dance when I was younger. When Rhythm Nation came out, I was just like obsessed, okay? And I used to lock myself in my room for hours on end listening to that album and recreating the choreography. So yeah, I'm excited to get my dance chops back up too. And just as I'm regaining that athleticism and I'm starting to get lighter on my feet and I'm releasing the excess weight, I'm just really excited to watch how it helps me, you know, get back into the swing of dance and like take it to that next level. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm going to be incorporating that this round. Another thing I may do as well with the challenge is just adding in some key strength training moves with really heavy weight. Mainly with the lower body. I like to focus mostly on lower body with heavy weight. I'm not into getting real built on my upper body. I know everybody likes something different, but for me, that's not for me. My kind of goal, if I had to describe like a body goal that I had, is very much to be in my natural body type. I want to retain some of my softness. I want to keep my curves. I don't want six-pack abs, you know. I'd like to be toned, but I also still want to have that curvy, you know, look. And so I don't really like to do a lot of heavy training on my arms. I don't want to get like yoked up, you know. But I really enjoy training the booty and the thighs really heavy. And I do have an Olympic bar. Which right there, we're looking at 50 pounds with the Olympic bar and some weight plates out back. So I might, on the leg days of this Get Toned Challenge, I might like, you know, go through the Chloe Ting workout for the day and then go out back, pull out that Olympic bar and bust out like some deadlifts and some squats and some lunges with some real heavy weight and just ramp it up, okay? So that's another thing that I'm kicking around, and I don't know. I'm kind of excited. I'm excited about this round and just to see how things change. And I did want to talk a little bit about my week of active rest and just share how that went, because I always do that at the start of each challenge. I had a great week of active rest. I did end up dropping more. I released another inch from my measurements, and half an inch came off of my waist. So that was fantastic. I did have a few treats because they were things that I was really craving. It was interesting because the first time that I did the challenge and I had my week of active rest come up, I didn't really crave anything. So I didn't really have much of anything. I think that first active rest I did, I had some popcorn, some caramel corn and cheddar popcorn blend. It's like Chicago blend popcorn. It was really tasty, but that was about the only thing I wanted. So I didn't really have any indulgences really my first week of active rest after I did round 1 of the Chloe Ting Weight Loss Challenge. Round 2 of the Chloe Ting Weight Loss Challenge that I just got through completing was a little different for me because simultaneously I was also doing the Kapha Reset course that I created with my other gig, Cobra's Medicine Bag. And I've been going along with the rest of the group that I'm leading through that process because I like to, you know, be in it with them. It just sort of drives it home more and lets them know that, you know, I practice what I preach, and I also do this cleansing with the seasons, and it was a really good experience. But it's interesting because You know, there's a 1 week cleanse in that Kapha Reset course. And in that cleanse, you know, there's certain things we avoid in that 1 week because it just helps the body detoxify and, you know, just release ama, you know, all the kind of toxic stuff that's built up in the system over the winter. And, you know, those 3 things that are to be avoided during that week-long cleanse are, you know, sugar, flour, and dairy. And I did notice that combining that with the training, I think, by the time I was done, and it was this second round of active rest for a week that I do, before I started this 3rd round of the challenge for the Get Tone Challenge, I did have more cravings on my week off. And I think that's really interesting because this is something that definitely comes in with intuitive eating, right? That anytime you restrict something, you know, you're more apt to have cravings for that thing that you tell yourself that you can't have. And so it's sort of like a revisiting that. And it was very, very interesting for me, even though I know the value of the week-long Ayurvedic cleanse and it did so much good for me, okay? But I did have a craving for a couple things with, you know, that cleanse that came in. So on my week of active rest, I let myself have those things. And I craved chocolate cake and I craved cheesecake and I craved red licorice and pizza. And I didn't have them all at once. It wasn't like a bender, you know, I didn't have a binge. And everything was definitely like, you know, portion controlled, just in the sense that when I wanted cake, I went out to a restaurant, I got a piece of cake. When I wanted cheesecake, I went to a restaurant, I got a piece of cheesecake. And I got a small little pack of red licorice and I shared it. And then pizza was ordered and it sounded really good. And I'm not big on pizza, but for some reason it just really sounded good to me. And I had a couple pieces, you know, so everything was in moderation. It felt really good. And it just goes to show you, you know, I was on active rest. My movement, you know, during the week off was really mild and mainly consisted of, you know, just taking Ted on his walks, and we like to like dance around the house together every day in the morning. It's sort of like our usual little routine. But I really let my body rest, and, you know, I still released. I released a ½ inch off my waist. So it's funny, you know, it just goes to show you that you can really eat anything as long as you're listening to your body, and you know, you're eating when you're hungry and you're stopping when you're satisfied, when you're full, comfortably full and satisfied. You know, you can't get so hung up on like, I have to eat perfectly. You know, it's a myth. It really is. You know, our bodies know what we need. And they know when enough is enough, and all we have to do is listen to our bodies and we'll be guided in the right way. And, you know, it's interesting because I think back to when I was a dieter, right? Way back when I used to go on crazy diets to release weight, I was very like, you know, I very much micromanaged my food, and, you know, sometimes I counted calories, and everything was just so controlled, you know. And if I had back then, you know, had a piece of cake, I would have been like, oh, I've blown it. You know, how could I have this piece of cake? And it would have actually set me off on a binge in the past. You know, I would have really just let everything I was eating go to garbage, you know, because it's like, well, I already blew it. I had this piece of cake. I may as well just go to town now and eat these chips and, you know, go out and get some fast food. And, you know, it would have ended up turning into like a week-long bender, honestly, and I would have unraveled all the work I had done. But since I've been an intuitive eater for so long now, I don't have any of these moralistic judgments about the foods I eat. If I have a treat, I have a treat. It's no big deal. It's like, okay, I had a treat. I enjoyed it. I liked the way it tasted. It was yummy. I was craving that. And then on to the next. And, you know, my next meal is nutritious. And my palate has really changed over the years too. Just, you know, dropping all that diet mentality stuff. I find that most of the time, I would say probably about 90 to 95% of the time, I crave really nutritious food. I really enjoy it. It feels really good in my body. And I like really simple foods too. Like just give me some vegetables, give me a baked potato and, you know, a nice little piece of meat, or, you know, some field roast, you know, a vegetarian dish or whatever. And I'm happy, you know, I'm happy. And I like really simple foods and just, you know, the fuel it gives my body, how it makes me feel. So, and I don't eat out very often. It's not really a thing for me. I used to eat out a lot, but I don't eat out a whole lot anymore. I tend to cook my food at home. I think that makes a difference too. But I wanted to bring that in because I thought that was really interesting that, you know, I had this week cleanse that fell within, you know, my last round of the Chloe Ting weight loss challenge. And, you know, I had to cut out certain foods for a week. And I definitely noticed an uptick in my cravings on the week of active rest. So I felt that was valuable insight to bring forward for, you know, people who are kind of like trying to restrict themselves from eating a lot of foods and then, you know, doing a challenge like this. It can kind of backfire on you, you know? So I think that Chloe has a really wonderful approach when it comes to food. And I love like her recipe ideas on her site. I haven't gotten to explore a lot of them yet, but I plan on it. Like a lot of the foods that she cooks and prepares, it's really similar to like the way I like to eat. She does a lot of sort of like, I can tell she likes sweets. And I like sweets too. I've always been a sweet tooth. And I love how she has these creative takes on having sweets, you know, but making it more nutritious. And you can definitely do that without sacrificing any flavor. And I just want to share one kind of like sweet treat that I came up with, you know, that I really, really enjoy. And I don't know, you all might want to try it and try to make it for yourself and see what you think. And that is oats, okay? I love to work with oatmeal. Oatmeal is such a great food, you know, especially for training, you know, and it's a digestive repair food. It's got really good fiber in it. It's very satisfying. It holds you over for a long time. And I love to make like a protein-packed version of oatmeal. And I have kind of like a standard-based recipe, and I have a few different ways that I make it. So I wanted to share it with you. One way that I prepared it recently that was just like so out of this world good, I call it bulletproof oats, okay? You may have heard of the term bulletproof in relation to coffee. And it's basically when you add some healthy fat to the coffee because it helps to like slow down the insulin response of the coffee. And so it makes such a difference, okay? It really does. It makes a huge difference in how that caffeine impacts you. And I do tend to have my coffee bulletproof style, but I had this motivation one day. I made up an Ayurvedic chai. Okay, so I took fresh ginger root, sliced up a bunch of it. I mean, probably about, I like to use a lot because I like to make a big pot of this Ayurvedic chai, and I like to drink it with my meals, and it just fires up your digestion and helps you like just just rev up your agni, your digestive fires, so you can really assimilate the nutrition from the foods you're eating better. So I take like a couple handfuls, or what's known in Ayurveda as anjalis, 2 anjalis, and I fill it with sliced fresh ginger root. I throw that in a pot of water. I add cinnamon sticks, a couple cinnamon sticks, probably, you know, I'd say like 6 or 7 cardamom pods. And then I do a little freshly ground black pepper. And sometimes if I want it to be more like kind of a golden chai, I'll add turmeric root, and it can be fresh or even just turmeric powder in there. And I bring that to a boil. Okay, and I boil it for like 10 minutes, all right? And that makes it bioenergetic water. And then I like let it cool down a little bit. I lower it and let it simmer for a little bit. And when it gets nice and rich, you know, then it's ready. And I just leave it on the stove, and I kind of like reheat it before meals and have it with my meals as a digestive. It so helps things out. Let me tell you, it's amazing, okay? If you're having any digestive issues, it's such a benefit. Like if you get bloated after your meals, or if you get gassy, if you find yourself burping after your meals, or you feel a little nauseous, or like food just sits in your tummy, try it. Try making this tea and like adding it at mealtime. It makes such a difference. But anyway, I take 2 cups of that Ayurvedic chai, okay? And I cook up 1 cup of oats in it. And as the oats are cooking in the chai, I add 2 scoops of chocolate protein powder. I like to use Nature's Bounty decadent chocolate protein powder. It's got collagen in it. It's got probiotics in it. It's got really good fiber in it. And it's sweetened with stevia, which is a plus in my book. And there's no artificial anything in it. So that's great. And plus it's really creamy and it's so yummy, and it doesn't have a chalky texture. That's why I like it. And then I add 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, but you could use any kind of nut butter you like. All right. And I just like cook that up and get that all mixed up together. And then sometimes I'll do a tablespoon of pure maple syrup, or once it's cooked, you can stir in a tablespoon of raw honey. You don't want to cook the honey though, so you have to wait until you take it off the stovetop before you stir in the raw honey if you're going to use that. You don't want to destroy all the wonderful enzymatic benefits of that honey. And in Ayurveda, if you cook honey, it actually becomes like a poison to the system. So you want to keep it raw. It's okay for it to get a little warmed. You just don't want to cook it. So I've done that, right? So I got this creamy, chocolatey, peanut buttery oatmeal, all right? And then what I do is I take a half a cup of black coffee, and I take half a tablespoon, so 1.5 teaspoons of either butter, or you can use ghee, and I put that in there, and I put it in a blender and whip it up so it gets a little frothy, okay? And I pour that over the top of the oats, and oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so freaking good. I highly recommend it. You'll love it. It's so freaking delicious, okay? Now, you could always like skip doing the bulletproof part and just make these yummy, chocolatey, nutty oats, okay? And just pour like, you know, coconut milk, or you can do, you know, almond milk, or even oat milk, you know, on the top after it's cooked. Oh, and I like to do a little sprinkling of sea salt to get those good electrolytes in there. But there's a third way I do it, okay? And the third way that I do it is I just cook up the oats in 2 cups of almond milk, all right, instead of the chai. And then I put in the chocolate protein powder. I don't use any peanut butter in that one, or nut butter in that one. and cook it up until it's nice and creamy. And then I put it in a bowl and I top it with 2 tablespoons of coconut cream. Okay, the creamy stuff, the stuff that comes in a can with that that yummy coconut cream on top, that I've added a little pure vanilla extract to. Okay, so it's like this vanilla creamy coconut. Okay, and then I top it with walnuts. And that's my Rocky Road version. Okay, you can still add the raw honey in there, still add the, pure maple syrup, so delicious. It'll hold you over forever. And for me, it's like, it's almost like a dessert. It's so tasty, but it's so good for you. So I just wanted to share that little recipe, but I'm really looking forward to checking out Chloe Ting's recipes, because she has so much stuff on there that looks so good. And I'm really appreciating her website and the way she has all these different, challenges lined up, and you have your own personal fitness journey, and you can journal about it, and you can share your pictures and everything. So if you haven't checked it out, I just want to give her a plug, because I just so appreciate how much she's supported me in my Get Healthy journey. And I just think this is something everybody should benefit from, and it's a free resource. Okay, so check it out, ChloeTing.com. Sign up, man. It's free, and you can have access to this amazing library of all these recipes, and you can build community there. And I'm looking forward to doing more of that. And eventually I'll be sharing my before and after pictures there too, which I've been keeping track of. So yeah, I'm super excited for this challenge. I'm feeling really good. And if you've been following me along from the beginning, I think you can see the difference that this experience has made for me. I mean, it's like night and day. My whole energy is different than it was when I first started this. I'm feeling really amazing. And I just want to say thank you, Chloe. I really appreciate you. And I hope someday I get a chance to have an exchange with you where I can, tell you personally, how much I appreciate what you've done here. It's really helped me so much, and I'm feeling amazing, and I'm so excited for this challenge and to continue to work out with you. So thank you so much. And thank you to all of you who have been here and have commented and just been supporting me on this journey. I really appreciate it. And thank you, for being patient with me, and waiting for me to present my before and after pictures, and understanding the special journey that I'm on, and being willing to hear a different side of this experience, what it's like for somebody who has my history, who is coming to this challenge and is really learning to love myself through this fitness journey, and just appreciate my body on a whole other level. And to let you all know that you can do this without going into those old places you used to be in, if you do have a similar history to me, or if you're somebody who's like a chronic dieter and you've always struggled with, this stuff, and you've always been too restrictive or too harsh with yourself, or you've punished yourself with workouts, you can turn that around. You can put the focus in a different place, and you can have an amazing experience. And the biggest thing I would like to pass on to people, that maybe have wanted to try the Chloe Ting challenge, but you think, oh gosh, there's no way I can do that. My body's not capable of doing that. Or, I'm a heavy person. I can't do this. It's okay to modify. It's okay to switch things up. It's okay to pause the video if you need to, and, take an extra break. And she definitely encourages you to do those things. So, just respect where you're at and love where you're at, and greet the challenge where you're at, and know that that's okay. And, since the beginning of this challenge, my first round, I had to modify a lot of things. I did, but now I'm in a different place with it. I've grown with the challenge. So, just respect where you're at, and know that where you're at is not where you're going to end up. You will grow with this challenge. So here we are, round 3, and I'll be on again in a week to share how my first week on the Chloe Ting Get Toned Challenge went for me. Round 3 of these challenges. I'm so proud of myself. All right. Have a wonderful week.